Good evening. We have a storm coming through. The wind's kicking up, I think. I hope. Could use the rain. Could use a good solid drink over the whole garden. Heading to the squash plants because I want to show you something. But on the way, let's show you this. Right. Japanese beetles. If your hand comes from above, they just drop. So if you place your cup below, they just willingly fall down into the water. Now I was just walking by the beans right here and saw a few beetles. So look at those guys. Alright, so what I wanted to show you, of course I just published a video saying that my squash is doing so much better this year. And it is. I have significantly less cucumber beetles and squash bugs this year. The thing that I apparently still have is vine borers. Alright, good morning. I got a little bit of a sweat going, shoveling compost. I think that's pretty much ready to go in the garden. The chickens were on it for about a week ago. So I wanted to get it a chance to heat up again before I started fully using it on the garden. So it looks fantastic. I'm actually thinking about getting like a soil test on it just to see what is in it, nutrient-wise, and acidity and calcium and all the stuff. But of course, the other day I published a video on managing the pests that attack squash. Now, what I said in the video was I felt like some of the things that, buddy, you're all right. Some of the things that we had done intentionally and unintentionally this year had helped with our keeping our cucumber beetle and our squash bug population down. And that's still true. The other absolute bane of the organic gardener in terms of squash is the vine borer moth. It's a little red and black moth that lays its eggs at the base of squash and cucumber plants. And when those eggs hatch, the larva burrows into the vine and goes up, eats up the vine, kills the plant. That's one I have not figured out how to deal with. But yesterday, I'll insert some footage here. Okay, I'm observing this squash on this side of the trellis, which is right in here, is the same as the one, oops, let me back up to show you, as this one right here. Now there's multiple variables, but that one certainly does not look as happy as this one. I noticed one side of my squash trellis looked way worse, just two plants than the other, and they're the same plants on either side. So I mixed up some fertilizer and I fertilized the plant and watered it real good, hoping that that would revitalize it. And as the day went on, it just wilted down further and further. So I'm like, okay, last night I'm like, I'm gonna make a video on squash vine borers. I'm gonna pull the plant, and typically what you do is you'll see spaces on the plant that looks like it has like almost sawdust on it where the vine borer goes in. And if you start like pulling the vine apart, usually you find the vine borer. It's like a little white worm looking thing with a brown on the end. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll show this to the camera. And this is the first time this has ever happened to me. I saw all the evidence. The plant had completely wilted down. I saw all the evidence in multiple places. And everywhere I looked, I could not find the squash vine borer. So right here, where there used to be two, I forget the name of it, but it's this giant butternut squash that we really, really like. They're no longer there. I pulled them apart and was looking for the vine borers. I couldn't find them. Like I said, first time ever that that's happened. Thankfully, pausing to squash a bug. It's a, I don't know what these are called, but they're like a black and yellow oval looking ladybug. They eat squash, or they eat the squash plant. So I pulled a couple of those. And here the plant looks like at the moment. It's, decent ways up the trellis. We got some nice looking squash there, if I get my hand out of the way so it can focus. Looking pretty good. So I'm hoping that the vine borers stay away long enough that we get a decent winter squash yield. Thinking about throwing something else in where I pulled those plants out. I'm not sure exactly what, but something. So right now in the garden, I need to film a July garden tour, and the tomatoes are turning left and right. We're getting lots of color, so we're going to start harvesting a lot of tomatoes here soon. And we're starting to get ready for fall garden. So I've done fall tomatoes, I've planted fall potatoes, I started some cabbage in pots. I need to start maybe some broccoli and cabbage, and I'm going to start looking at a timeline to get radishes and rutabagas and turnips, maybe some lettuce mix, those kind of things that can be planted into the fall in the ground. So even though we just broke a heat wave, finally we got some good rain last night. So even though it was just like almost 90 degrees yesterday, it is time to start thinking about your cold hardy things and what you want to plant and where you're going to plant it. So thanks for joining us.